So you're exhausted. You've been doing all the right things that you know of to do. But the harder you try to sleep, the more your brain wants to throw a party around midnight. If this is you, you're not lazy and you're not broken. You're just stuck in a sleep trap. Today, I'm going to show you how to escape it. The method I'm going to teach you is the gold standard for reversing chronic insomnia. So by the end of this video, you're going to know the #1 fix that sleep scientists swear by, plus the 5-step method to completely retrain your brain for sleep. After that, you'll be able to trust bedtime again. So most people think that sleep fixes come from apps that you could download or medications. But this is completely different. This teaches you how to work with your body's natural sleep system and not against it. You're going to learn to fall asleep faster, stop staying awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, wake up less, and improve the quality of your sleep. It's evidence-based, it's clinically tested, and it's just as good learning it from me right here on YouTube as it is going to a clinic face-to-face. Just think of this series as a boot camp for your sleep brain. So with a lot of things in life, what you put in is what you get out. Well, sleep is not like that. With sleep, it's not about trying harder. It's actually about doing less, but doing it smarter. Now, if this is the first one of my videos that you've seen, please go back and watch part 1 of this series, because this is like calculus. If you don't learn the basic addition and subtraction skills, multiplication and division are going to be real hard, and calculus is going to be impossible. Calculus is the end result that we're looking for here to totally retrain your brain. But it ain't going to be as hard as calculus, so don't worry about that. But by now you should have written down your most common sleep thoughts. What's preventing you from getting sleep? What do you think about when you're laying down? You should know those unhelpful bedtime behaviors, and you should be conscious of the way that you're feeling when you're laying down, like the physical symptoms I talked about. You should have started your sleep diary, and you should have improved your sleep hygiene. Those things alone may have already helped you, but if not, let's get into the next part. So with sleep, there's always an elephant in the room. It's called sleep dread. People that suffer from insomnia usually feel pretty good at night until it's time for bed. Then the brain just says, nope, and your thoughts start racing. You may have some of that tension like I talked about, and a lot of times you just anticipate having a bad night. Then you start to fear the bed itself. There's nothing wrong with you if you're thinking that way. That is totally normal with insomnia. It's called conditioned insomnia. You've unknowingly trained your brain to think of your bed as a trigger for anxiety instead of restful sleep. But we're going to reverse that with something called stimulus control. So stimulus control is actually sleep rewiring, and here's the 5-part formula. Part 1, your bed is for 2 things, sleep and sex. That's it, nothing else. No phones, no work. Don't even watch my YouTube videos in bed. Do that before you go to bed. Your brain needs to associate your bed with sleep, period. You've got to reset your brain to thinking this way. You need at least 1 hour and preferably 2 of no screens before you go to bed. And at night, once it gets dark, I have my phone trained to go into a red light mode. Red light kind of mimics the sunset. It lets your body know it's time to start winding down, where blue light is like daylight. Your body needs to be awake, it needs to be active, it wants to be doing things like we talked about earlier, the circadian rhythm. Your body takes this light and decides what time of day it is to help you wind down or wake up. And let me know if you want me to show you how to turn the red light on your phone so that it doesn't constantly keep you awake. Reading is sometimes okay as long as it's a relaxing book, but if you're in the middle of an adventure novel, you're just gonna stay awake. So don't choose something that's too overstimulating or you might not be able to go to sleep. Number 2, you've got to wake up at the exact same time every day. Whether it's the weekends like I talked about the first week, it doesn't matter. Even if you only slept 2 hours, you got to get up. This builds a long-term sleep drive. And if you only got 2 hours, you have to get up at the same time and go through your whole day. That's the start of the retraining process. I guarantee you're going to get some good sleep that night. And that may be all you need to reset the sleep drive to begin with. The 3rd rule, you only go to bed when you're sleepy. You need to be tired. You need to be like nodding off, like when you're sitting in a chair with Netflix on or whatever, and all of a sudden your eyes are like this. You need to be sleepy. You need to be tired. Not just fatigue, and your body is going to start telling you what time you need to go to bed and what time you need to wake up. A lot of people are naturally between 7 and 8 hours of sleep, and studies have shown that less than that is not beneficial, even though a lot of people seem to function just fine. EEG testing shows they could be performing a lot better with more sleep. So make sure you're nice and tired before you hit the bed. The 4th rule, if you're awake after 20 minutes, get out of bed. Don't fight the bed. Move to another room, go to a chair, start reading a book. Don't touch the screens. Read a nice, boring book. And when you get sleepy again, go back to bed. It sounds kind of weird, but believe me, this works. You're retraining your brain here and it's gonna make all the difference. You don't wanna try to fight this and force yourself to go to sleep. Do you remember those Chinese finger traps where you put your fingers in each end and you pull it, and the harder you pull, the harder it is to get out of there, and then you kind of relax and you're able to pull your fingers out? Sleep works the exact same way. Trying harder pulls you tighter into insomnia and you can't get out of it. Let go and that trap's gonna loosen up for you. The fifth and possibly most important rule is 0 naps. Seriously. Sleep drive is your appetite for sleep. Like I told you in the previous video, napping is like snacking before dinner. It's gonna kill your hunger. Save it for the main course, which is your sleep. These 5 things are definitely gonna help you start building that sleep architecture and get your brain retrained to sleep. But what if you're going to bed with racing thoughts in your head? Here's how to shut them down. Have you ever noticed at night, maybe you're sitting down watching a TV show and everything's pretty calm and you're feeling pretty good, pretty tired. And then when the lights go off, you're trying to solve world hunger. Here's a powerful technique that's going to help you with that. I would suggest doing this when you turn the screens off for the last time. This is called a worry dump. And I mentioned in the first video keeping a pen and paper next to your bed. So you're going to take your pen and paper out 2 or 3 hours before bed. You've got to write down everything that's on your mind, whether it's a to-do list for the next day, things you don't want to forget, things you meant to do and forgot, things you didn't get to today. Write down every single thing that's on your mind. When your thoughts start racing later on, just say, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. You already got that down. You already know what you got to do. You don't need to think about it anymore. And writing it down does something very powerful in the brain. If you're like me, there's always stuff you don't want to forget to do the next day. And this is a helpful way to get it out of your head, onto paper, and ready to put it aside so you can get some rest. And I would definitely recommend keeping that paper and pen next to the bed, because a lot of times if you do wake up thinking of something, you get it right out of there, onto paper, out of your head, you can fall right back asleep. Another thing that's really gonna help is creating like a wind down routine at night. But look, don't pressure yourself with this. What we're doing here is setting a vibe. Sleep doesn't really work like a light switch, it's more like a dimmer. It starts in the morning, then your appetite for sleep starts building, your circadian rhythm's flowing right, you've had your last meal of the day, you've turned the screens off, and now you're winding down. You want to give your brain a ramp to kind of settle into, not a cliff to fall off of. Some things you could do to wind down at night is maybe some light stretching, a light yoga routine, journaling or writing if you like to do that, reading like I talked about. Dim your lights. Don't have bright lights in the bedroom. Have like a red spectrum bulb. Doesn't have to be like a super red light where everything in the room looks red, but you don't want cool white bulbs in there. You want a warm bulb in your bedroom. Another thing that might help is a hot bath or a hot shower, maybe about an hour before you go to bed. Your body likes to be cool when it goes to bed, and warming yourself up like that, your body's going to come in to lower your core temperature. That's going to help you sleep. Make sure that bedroom is nice and cold like I talked about in the first video. But look, don't turn this into a checklist. We're not like Harry Potter here trying to put together all these steps to throw in a pot and make some kind of potion. All we're doing here is setting a vibe. So whatever you like, whatever makes you feel calm. You may want to do some aromatherapy, maybe throw some lavender in the room. All these things that feel good but help you relax. Think about going to a spa and how they set the mood there. That's what you want to help you wind down and relax. So this week I want you to continue on what you're doing in the first week. Continue being conscious of the things that you're thinking about at night, how your body feels at night. Implement some of those 5 stimulus controls I talked about. At least 2 or 3 to start with. These are really going to help. Make sure you schedule your time to dump all those things out onto paper before you try to wind down. And once you try to wind down, start that routine. Get the lights dim. Put on some light music. Maybe the aromatherapy. Whatever makes you feel good to wind down towards bed. Avoid napping at all costs. That's one of the biggest things that's going to mess up your sleep at night, and there's no way to fix it until you stop that. Make sure you keep up with that sleep diary and exactly what's going on, because that's going to be helpful in the next couple weeks. We're not fixing our sleep by force here. What we're doing is creating the conditions, retraining the brain to let it happen naturally. That's the real power. Next week, we're diving even deeper into this. There's going to be some powerful techniques, but you need to have the first 2 weeks set and a part of your routine before we move on. Remember, you can't do calculus if you can't do basic addition and subtraction. We're going to totally flip your nighttime thoughts, the unhelpful beliefs and stories that hijack your brain. I'm going to teach you how to rewrite them and break this insomnia cycle for good. Let me know if you've ever tried to force yourself to sleep and how that worked out. That 5-step framework is the #1 thing that sleep scientists swear by. But don't worry, next week, we're going even deeper than that. That's the foundation. Next week we're building. And let me know which one of those 5 steps you're going to start with first to help you totally change your sleep architecture. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next week. Stay healthy, sleep tight, and I'll see you on the next video.